In this video I will be showing you the techniques used to make these half-finger gloves. PDF pattern is available and is linked in the description below. We start with an Italian cast on and rib one by one. Links for these full tutorials are in the description below. Continue knitting the glove in stockinette. This means all knit stitches. Here I am showing you, just knit all the stitches. And knit all around. Continue according to the pattern which is linked below in the description. Here I show you how you continue on the back needle. Just pull the needle through until the stitches are on the cable, then pull the other needle from the back end until the stitches are on the front needle. And continue to knit. Add stitches for the thumb. In this video I will be showing you for the right hand glove. So first we add a stitch by picking up the yarn in between the last stitch of the front needle and the first stitch of this needle. So you pick it up, insert your left needle in front and knit the stitch. Then the next stitch we knit it and again pick up and knit the stitch. Here you can add a stitch marker, and I'll link the mini tutorial below if you want to know how I made this DIY stitch marker for thin yarn. And knit the rest of the round. Every second round we just knit these stitches for the thumb. And knit the rest of the round, of course. And we continue to add stitches in the same way, so pick up and knit a stitch. And then we knit the stitches that are already on the needle. And pick up and knit another stitch. So we increase stitches in the front and at the end. And knit the rest of the round. Continue to knit according to pattern until you have all the stitches for the thumb. Put stitches for the thumb aside and knit the rest of the glove. So we need to add 3 stitches. Pick up and knit again. It's easier when you have the stitches on the cable instead of the needle, like I have here. And then we put the stitches on a stitch holder. If you don't have that, you can easily use a piece of scrap yarn. And then add another stitch. So we make 1 stitch. Just turn the yarn and place that loop on the needle and pick up and knit another stitch in between the last stitch of the thumb and the first stitch of this needle. Hold it tight so the stitches won't become too large, and then you just continue the back needle knitting all around. Here I am showing you the next round, so you just continue knitting the stitches. And we add a stitch marker to each of these 3 stitches that we've added. You'll see later on why they will come in handy. The stitch we made can be a little tricky to get into. It's the middle one because we just twisted the yarn. And the last one. Continue knitting this round and all the other rounds as I am showing you here, according to the pattern. How to knit a half finger. So you knit the amount of stitches you need for that finger and put the rest of the stitches on a stitch holder or a piece of scrap yarn if you don't have a stitch holder. On the back needle you first put the stitches you don't need on a stitch holder or a piece of scrap yarn and add a stitch by picking up the yarn and knitting one when you need to add a stitch, and continue this round. Then you continue knitting in stockinette for a few rounds, and then you continue with rib one by one, so knit one and purl one, as I am showing you here. Do that for a few rounds. And for the rest of the fingers. Here I'll be showing you the tubular bind off. Link is in the description below for the full tutorial. So we add stitch marks to the first 2 stitches. The other one we'll be doing in a minute. Insert into the first stitch as if to knit and take it off the needle. Insert into the second knit stitch as if to purl, so you skip a stitch. Then place the stitch marker. Insert as if to purl and take this one off the needle. And insert into the next purl stitch as if to knit, so we skip a stitch again. Or you can do this in 2 steps. And we'll be showing you now. So you insert in between the 2 stitches, then you insert into that purl stitch as if to knit. And from now on it's a repeat. So insert as if to knit, take off the needle, insert as if to purl, insert as if to purl, take off the needle, and insert as if to knit. You repeat this all around until you reach the last 2 stitches. And when you change needles, just place those 2 stitches on the second needle, as I am doing here. So you just continue the bind off. Here I made a mistake. I should have inserted knitwise. And the second part, you just do the same as if to purl, but then in the stitch that you have marked. So as if to purl, and then as if to knit in the stitch that you have marked. And that's how we finish the bind off. Take the stitch markers out, and it's ready to weave in later on. How to knit the rest of the thumb. So you place the stitches on 2 circular knitting needles, and here you will see why those stitch markers come in handy. So we need to pick up stitches or loops from these stitches that we have made, and you can use a crochet hook because it makes it a lot easier, as I am doing here. Just pick up the loop and repeat for the next stitch. Take out the stitch marker. Place the stitches on the right needle or the end of the circular needle, and continue knitting all around like I am doing here. So just knit until the end, and we need to pull up another loop for the last stitch. We do this exactly the same way. So pull up a loop and place it on the needle. For the second round, I recommend you to hold the tail so you won't make a large stitch or you won't lose that tail when knitting the first stitch. And continue knitting according to the pattern, a few rows in stockinette and a few rows in rib, and end with a tubular bind off. Here I will be showing you how to weave in the ends, or how I weave in the ends. So you bring the tails to the inside of the glove and turn the glove inside out. Then I just weave in, make a small knot, and continue to weave in further. Just go up and down a few times. And here's what I do with small tails. I just make stitch markers.